G'day everyone, it's Alan here from Fishing Mad, and thanks for tuning into another episode. Well, winter is most certainly here. It's been pretty tricky to get out this week. Between the heavy rains that we've had, the really strong wind, it's been really tough to get out in the water. So we've had about 8 or 9 days of treacherous conditions, and finally today we get back out on the water. Unfortunately, today's not much better. It's very windy. So currently sitting on about 35k winds. So it's going to make it pretty tricky out here, but we're going to do our best to get onto a few fish to share with you. And sometimes it's just about making the most out of even what might be pretty tough conditions. Anyway, sit back and enjoy the show. Oh, here we go, got one. Oh, good one too. Oh, well, she's been a bit quiet today. And just like that, got something that's peeling a bit of line. This feels like a nice fish. It's a pinky, but it's a good size one. There we go. All right, so there's your catch there. So we're certainly working hard for them today. We've got that really strong breeze, a strong northerly. It's pushing us probably about 50 meters every minute or so. So it's been pretty hard. We'll get this beautiful fish back in the water. See you, buddy. Away he goes. And hopefully that's opening the account on what's been a pretty tricky hour on the water so far. So let's see if we can add to that number. So battery swap. Alright, we're on. Got one. That was funny. Got another fish here. It's a nice fish, actually. Oh, this is a really nice fish. Yeah, this is bigger, this one. Good time for the net to be stuck. He's going on a run. Come on, mate, up he comes. There we go, that's a good fish. Beautiful. Okay, that wind has really kicked up now, making it very tricky. So having that electric motor does really help. But now we're starting to catch quite a few fish like this, so I'll just straighten up so that way the sun glare isn't too bad. And that's another really nice pinky there. So the conditions are very tricky, but you know what, we're starting to catch a few now. So just working the plastics ever so slowly. So I've just got a 1/20th of an ounce jig head, so we're only fishing in 3 meters deep. But because that current's moving really well, Mark's onto another one. Working it really slow has kind of been the key at the moment. So we'll get this beautiful fish on his way. He's away, and let's see if we can get a few more. Now, one of the things that you can do if you've got an electric motor like mine is you can just have it running at a real slow speed to try and keep the bow of the kayak nice and straight into the waves. I'm almost treating it as if it's a little bit like spot lock. So you're moving backwards because of the wind and the current, but you can put your motor at a certain speed pointing in the right direction. It basically just locks you into spot. So if you happen to catch a few fish, mark some things up on your sounder, a few waypoints, you can use that motor to basically hold you right into that spot. So obviously you want to make sure you got a battery that's going to last you quite a few hours if you're going to be doing that. But that's a handy technique rather than just drifting at such a fast pace where you're constantly moving away from that spot where you're getting bites. Most important things you want to do when you're fishing in these conditions, here we go, got one, is just to keep that line tight all the time. So because of that wind, your line becomes slack quite a lot, and it's just about keeping a bit of tension on that line. This feels like a nice fish. It's fighting a little bit different. Might just be because of that current, I think. Got another one here. Oh, it's got a little bit of weight to it. It's hard to tell in these conditions because that current is, whoa, look at this reel though. That current is just roaring. But this fish does not want to come up. It's really using the wind in its tide to its advantage, so I'm just keeping a bit of tension on this line. I'm not going to muscle this fish because I'm using quite light gear here. I've got a feeling this is a decent fish. I can see the leader now, so... Whoa, what is this? Is this a salmon or something? I'm not sure what this is. Not wanting to come up yet, so let's put that net away. This is a good fish. There we go. Oh, it's a tailor. Ah, no! It was a huge tailor and I've dropped it. Ah! Bugger, I really wanted to give you a good look at that, guys. Those fish have got really nice sharp teeth. And as I got close, you can see that that's just been clean cut right next to the kayak. No. Anyway guys, for those who want to know, that's the soft plastics that we're using today, just a 2.75 inch Munros. It's the little glass monkey paddle tail. So interesting, sometimes just by changing the type of soft plastic, so the colour, then you can attract some different species. So obviously that big tailor at the end, that was a really, really interesting catch. So still quite annoyed at myself that I didn't bring that up to show you. So, and if you rig it up perfectly, it should look something just like that. You really want to take your time rigging up soft plastics, get them nice and straight. If you can get them really straight, what's going to happen is the swimming action on them is going to be really, really good. Here we go. Oh, I had a little... Here we go. Gotcha. Gotcha. So here we go. This is what I'm talking about. So this is on that glass monkey 2.75 inch soft plastic, and this feels nice. Oh, look at this go. Yeah, Mark. So this might be a decent fish, this one. So not quite sure yet, but this is feeling like a nice fish. So as I said, it is tough conditions out here. Like, we're really getting challenged. It's sitting at the moment on about 28k winds. This is a really nice pinky, but it's a really good size one. Yeah, it's a really nice fish. But if you do those things right, you can still catch fish in tough conditions, okay? So this is on that plastic. There we go. That's a nice fish. So we'll give you a good look at this one. Okay, so there you go. So there is your pinky. So what a beautiful fish. Lots and lots of fun on that light gear. Mark has just hooked up to another fish right next to me. And as you can see, it's just got that soft plastic there in its mouth. So that's just that 2.75 inch paddle tail. Very natural looking colors there. And pinkies like these, absolutely love them. So as you know, we do a lot of catch and release fishing on the show. It's something that we're really proud about. So this beautiful fish will go on his way. And let's see if we can get another one. Okay, so casting gets pretty tough when you're in really windy conditions, especially when you're using really, really light line, which is what we like to call silly string. And the reason for that is you tend to get lots of wind knots in these conditions. So a couple of things that you can do is really trying to use the wind to your advantage. So casting with the wind will really help, because you're going to find your line's not going to coil and loop up. So I just saw a big flash of silver chase the line then. So so at the moment we're drifting really, really fast. So the best thing that we can do is to be casting with the breeze. That's really going to minimize those wind knots. And the other thing that I'm doing is I'm working the plastics really, really slowly today. And you're going to find, because of that tidal flow, those plastics are going to be doing quite a lot, even when you're not doing much at all. So those little paddle tails and curl tails, just because we're drifting at about 50 or 60 meters every single minute, you can just work the plastic really, really slowly, cast it out, let it sink, let it sit there for a good 15-20 seconds, a couple of little lifts, let it sit back down. You're going to be surprised. Strategy on these conditions will work really, really well. If you've got extra rods here, they're just going to get in the way, they're going to get tangled up in the wind, and you're going to find very much that less is more in these sort of instances. Too much in these situations is just going to be a nightmare to try and juggle. So it does get very, very frustrating. So basically that spot, oh, here we go. Oh, dropped one, had a big, big hit then. Bugger, look at that. Must have been a snook. It's eaten the whole thing off. So I reckon we had a snook on then, so bugger. Oh, here we go, got one. Oh, good one too. This feels like a nice fish. Yeah, it's a nice size one. There we go. Now I do get asked all the time just to run through some of the basics of soft plastics fishing techniques. And it's actually really, really simple. There's a number of techniques that you can do. The first one is as simple as it gets. Okay, that's where you cast out, you're gonna let your soft plastic sink for a couple of seconds, just that way it's gonna get close to the bottom. And then all you're gonna do is what they call as a slow roll. And that's basically just a continuous movement, just bringing in that line. Okay, and there's a lot of systems and a lot of soft plastics where this technique will work really, really well. So you can see you're not doing anything fancy, you're just constantly retrieving that in at a nice slow pace. Nice shallow systems like this, you will catch lots of pinkies and bream in that, doing that. So, and you can see the soft plastic, so what I'm using now is that paddle tail. That just flutters in the water as you're doing that. Same works really, really well with your curl tails. The other action that you can do, which is the one that I predominantly like to do the most, is just your hopping technique. And that's again where you cast out, you let that soft plastic sit to the bottom, and then what we're going to do is, once it's had a bit of a chance to sink, is you just tighten up that slack. Okay, you're going to do a couple of little lifts and then tighten that slack and then let it sink back down to the bottom. Now on a day like today where we're moving really, really fast, so I've got the sounder on and I'm kind of working out how quick we're moving. So we're moving at about 55 meters per minute. So you can do this really, really slowly. Again, a couple of hops, lift it off the bottom, tighten up that slack. Okay, what you're going to find is a lot of times it'll lift up, it's kind of imitating like a wounded prawn or a wounded bait fish. As it sinks back down to the bottom, that's often when you get a lot of those hits. So again, just doing that, and This is a great area here for your pinkies and your brim and your slow rolling technique, and this technique works really, really well. And what you're going to find is in time, you're going to start to develop your own techniques, and you're going to just start to impart your own action. And it's one of those things, the more catches that you get, the more confident that you'll get in a particular technique that, you know, will probably become your preferred way of doing it. Well, that's a wrap, guys. Very short session today. That wind is absolutely howling now. It's sitting on about 35k wind, so it's beyond safe out here. So we're going to call it. We've only been out here probably for about 90 minutes. Caught some really nice fish, so lots and lots of pinkies. And then obviously right at the end, we dropped that tailor, which looked like it was a really good size one. So really shame that I didn't get to get that up and give you a good look at it. Obviously got it right beside the kayak, and its teeth have obviously brushed up against the leader, and see you later. But you know what, it's always great to be out here. As I said, we are in winter now, so this is a pretty challenging time of year to be out fishing, but we're going to be doing our best to get out as often as we can and share some pretty cool fishing adventures with you. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to go and check out our members area, which is www.fishingmad.com.au/member, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Take care, everyone.